Okay. My name is Camelia Juarez. I'm the Public Information Officer for the San Antonio Police Department. First, I want to start off in listing that we have one person dead, one person in the hospital, and another person in custody. To give you the details, the suspect is in his 20s. He's a Hispanic male. Our victim is in his 40s. That is the person that is deceased in their 40s, a Hispanic male. And we have a woman in her 20s or 30s who was taken to the hospital. So at this time, this was a disturbance call that turned into a shooting. The call came out at about 12:30, and what we know so far is that the two victims were leaving their house, and then they were struck by gunfire that came through the fence. At this time, it's unclear where the suspect was at the time of the shooting and how they got struck, and it's also unclear at this time what provoked the shooting. We're still trying to figure out if there was some sort of altercation, if there was some sort of argument. Those details are still under investigation, so I can't get into the specifics of that. And when officers arrived, the suspect's family member had already removed the weapon from their hands, and the suspect came out without any type of incident. At this time, we know that the detectives are collecting statements, reviewing any sort of surveillance video they might have, as well as, again, collecting evidence and statements. Any questions?
Relationship between the three?
So the two victims were neighbors to this suspect.
And which house where was the shooter, right, that you guys know right now, and which one were the victims? Because I know there were two calls that came in.
The victims are the one behind, over here on this side.
The 219?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The one with
had there been issues before because it was a disturbance between neighbors? Like, had they had issues before?
It's unclear to say at this time because it's unclear if there has been an ongoing, arguments between them. I did look at the calls in this area, and I haven't seen any other 911 calls, any other kind of disturbance calls in the last almost year.
When you say disturbance, like a mental health disturbance or just a disturbance?
Disturbance is a really broad term,
yeah.
So I can't give the details on what the disturbance was initially, but I just know that the disturbance call did transition into a shooting call.
So this is between neighbors, technically?
Yes.
Okay.
Was there anybody else in the homes? Any kids? Anybody else? Elders? Anybody?
At this time, I'm unaware of anybody else who might have been at the home at the time, but I do know that the only two people that were injured was the deceased male and the injured woman.
Who were of relation to each other or married or what?
I'm not at liberty to say, but I think they're friends.
Okay.
I don't think they're family members. So
But they both live in the home?
I can't say if they live in the home either.
So at some point, the two victims, neighbors, at some point confronted the suspect?
It's unclear if we can even say if they confronted or what kind of interaction that they had before the shooting. All we can say at this point is that we do have the suspect in custody, we do have witnesses that are being interviewed, and we also have a lot of evidence that we're collecting right now to make sure that we get all the answers for this. Thank you guys.
Do we know if the suspect has any criminal history?
I did not check that, but if he sends an email, I can get that. I don't think he does, but I want to double check
Do you know
that
how
for
many
you.
shots were fired?
I don't have that total number.
Two more questions, guys.
And you said he shot through the fence? So was he on his property?
At this time, we believe that he shot through the fence. However, there are still collecting evidence, and CSI crews are out there looking to see if there's holes in the fence or not. But at this time, all we know for sure is that two people were struck.
We heard the victim
backyard,
was...
right? In the backyard? This
At-
all happened in the backyard?
No. So who was where is unclear at this time. Right now, I can say that the two victims were leaving their house. It's unclear if the suspect is outside in the backyard or if he was in the front yard. That's a fence makes the difference of all that, but he was able to strike the two victims.
And can you confirm that the victim who passed away was shot in the stomach and died here on the scene?
I cannot confirm that, actually.
Thank you, guys.
But he did die on the scene here.
I don't have that information.